Hello again. Alan here from ABTS Training Services in a very, very cold October rainy day in London, England. Not a nice day to be out. For those who were watching my previous video, we were talking about international shipping and we did some freight rates, etc. And it seemed to get a lot of attraction and attention. And I've had some remarks, favorably, I might say. I had some remarks saying, can you kind of push on with that a bit? And can you talk about just shipping in general and shipping costs? Well, you know, I always like to do videos in response to requests rather than just going blah, blah, blah about something I decide to talk about. So I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. The next two videos are going to be request videos, so to speak. And I'm going to call this one Shipping Costs. So we're going to talk about that great cost center, shipping costs. And shipping costs, it's an area, in my experience, I found that not many importers or exporters really understand the nitty gritty, the ins and outs of shipping costs. And it's so important that they do. And you also know, or I hope you remember, that in my videos, I always like empowering people with knowledge so they can make very, very good decisions or informed decisions and not be led by third parties such as freight forwarders, shipping lines, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we're going to talk about shipping costs in general terms. And I'm going to start off with very basics and talk about the vessels themselves, the shipping vessel. We won't use any names or brands or anything like that, but I'm sure you can visualize well-known international shipping lines. Now, a shipping line or an international shipping line, for the want of a better word, is either one of two. It's a member of a conference or it's an independent shipping line. And to add to that, they can also be in a shipping alliance. So let's get these things out of the way. What the heck is a shipping conference and an independent shipping line? And what the heck is shipping alliances? So I'm going to start with the easy one first. Shipping alliance is quite easy. The name gives it away. It's shipping lines that get together and they co-share traffic. So if I book on shipping line X on the city of Liverpool and the city of Liverpool is full, my cargo can go on company Y, the city of Durban, because they have an alliance and they help one another out. That's my words. They help one another out. If I can't put your container on this vessel, don't worry, I can get it on another friend's vessel, so to speak, an alliance. Okay, no big deal. But that's what an alliance is in general terms. It's different when we talk about conference and non-conference. And bear in mind, we're talking about this in relation to shipping costs. Okay, so what is a conference? Well, we all know what a conference is. Forget about shipping. We all know what a conference is. It's a gathering of people, usually online nowadays, but it's a gathering of people. What's a shipping conference? It's a gathering. Let's put another name, a club of shipping lines. Like an alliance, they get together. Unlike the alliance, they will, and I'm hesitating with this word, I was going to say fix prices, but that gives you, my viewer, the wrong impression that, oh yeah, they're price fixers, you know. No, they come to an agreement among themselves on the cost of a container from A to B. Many years ago, they were banned from the European Union because they used to fix their costs. So liner A, B, and C all got together, i.e. conference said, hey guys, from Mombasa to Los Angeles, a 20-foot container is going to be $485. Okay, so no matter what shipping line I would ring in the conference, the answer would be $480. Okay, now the European Union, from memory, about 10 years ago said, if you're going to price fix, you can't come into our ports. We don't allow price fixing. We don't allow monopolies. So our friends, the conference, said, okay, we've got to go into European Union ports, so we won't price fix, but we will give privileged rates for frequent shippers, etc., 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 etc. Okay, now I'm not going to do a video on the pros and cons, or the ins and outs of conference shipping. But all I'm just going to say to you is that is basically how conference shipping works. Certainly in ports into the European Union, they don't price fix. So I'm going to kind of synopsize the whole conference thing by saying the rates are rather high. Now, you might say, okay, Alan, the rates are rather high. Against what? Against what? You can't just make a statement, the rates are rather high. That's stupid. What are they high against? Boom, we come into number 2. Non-conference are independent lines. An independent line is like you and I. We're independent of everybody. You have a shipping line, I have a shipping line. The only thing we have in common, we service the same ports. We're not in a conference. We don't get together. In fact, we don't like one another. We're in competition with one another. So I can go to a non-conference shipping line and get a quote. And wow, sometimes, most times, they're cheaper than conference. Now, these are very broad statements here, very broad statements. But you get the gist of it. You have in shipping conference and non-conference. Conference, shipping lines forming a club. Non-conference, independent shipping lines looking after their own interests. So when you receive a quotation or ask for a quotation from a freight forwarder or a shipping line, you should always say, particularly to the freight forwarder, may I have a quote for a 20-foot box from, I can never think of ports when I'm on YouTube, from Felixstowe to Mumbai. 20-foot box, please. And then if he gives you that quote, or when they give you that quote, say, is that conference or non-conference? Or come out straight to them at the beginning and say, 20-foot container from Felixstowe to Mumbai. Could you give me a conference and a non-conference quote? And just look at the reaction on the screen if it's an email, or hold the phone away from you if it's on the phone, because they normally go, what? Conference? How do you know about conference and non-conference? Because you see, most people just ask a shipping line for a quote. Most people ask a freight forwarder for a quote. Please quote me. They don't go into the minutiae of it because most people don't know. So, tip of the week. Always ask, are you a conference or non-conference? Or ask a freight forwarder, I want a non-conference quote. Now, they might come back to you and they might say, I'm sorry, there's no non-conference going there. Whatever. But you let them know you know. You're not the lamb to the slaughter. You know. Do you remember we were talking about BAF and CAF in the last video, and I was saying to you, freight forwarders just bung it on sometimes because they know that you haven't a clue what BAF and CAF is, and you just go, oh, really? Mm-hmm. So now it's the same with conference and non-conference. You know the difference between a conference and non-conference. Okay, so that comes on to the subject under discussion, as the man said, shipping costs. So, bearing in mind, in the background, you have conference, non-conference. Okay, now we're talking about shipping costs. So we're going to look at total shipping costs in a very brief way. I don't want to give too much away because it's part of our import-export course. It goes into it in much more detail. So I'm kind of hedging my bets, so as to speak, on this one. So what I always do is I divide shipping costs into two sections: pre-shipment shipping costs and actual shipping costs. So what I'm going to do with you now is look and give you an idea of some pre-shipment costs. They're not definitive. They're not written in a book. These will always be your pre-shipment costs. I give you a flavor of them. Okay, let's have a look at possible pre-shipment. When I say pre-shipment, before they are put on the vessel. That's what I mean by pre-shipment. Between leaving the factory and going on the vessel, to me, is pre-shipment costs. So I'm going to address some of those. So you could have documentation, like a certificate of origin. I'm asking you, may I have a certificate of origin, please? And may I have a phytosanitary health certificate, please? May I have the cargo pre-shipped inspected? So I need a clean report of findings, please. So all of these, to me, are pre-shipment. Now, what amazes me and never fails to amaze me when I visit my clients and we're talking on this subject, on pre-shipment, shipping costs, usually I'm there to try and bring in their shipping costs, to identify ways we can save money. And I look at them and I'll say, okay, what documents do you usually give? And they would say, well, obviously the invoice and the packing list. Yeah, okay. What else do you do? Well, usually we, for our Arab countries, Arab League countries, we do a certificate of origin. And it has to be legalized and certified. And I said, well, okay, depending on the country, in sterling, that could be 120 quid, 200 pounds. Who's paying for that? Oh, we never think about that. We pay for that. We don't charge the customer. Wow. And in my mind, I say to myself, I must charge these people more for my consultancy. They've lots of money. So pre-shipment documentation, who pays for it? Do you? The seller, in this case, the shipper? Do you? Or do you put it in your selling price? Now, my practice has been always put it in your selling price. I'm not a charitable institution. Why should I pay for these documents? Why should I pay for a pre-shipment inspection? It's you. If you want it, you pay for it. But maybe where I'm living, maybe because in England we have this idea people have, oh, we're all gentlemen, we don't ask certain questions. And I truly believe that. It reflects in freight. People don't, we can't ask them for that. It looks as if we're mean. If we ask them for £180 to certify and legalize a document, or £25 to secure this document for them, yeah, okay. If you want to be flavor of the month, if you want to be Mr. or Mrs. Nice Guy, go ahead, pay for them. Pay for them. It doesn't worry me. I don't. Okay, so that's pre-shipment costs. That's what I mean by pre-shipment costs. Now we go a step further. We're leaving the warehouse, so to speak. So we've done this all background stuff, the invoice, the packing list, and any other documents they require, as I've just mentioned. Okay, so now we've got all those in this hand, and now the goods are going to leave the warehouse. They're going to go down to Felixstowe docks in the UK, and they're going to get on a boat for Mumbai. Okay, what costs are they? And I call those my shipping costs. The other ones were pre-shipping costs. Now they're shipping costs. So let's have a look at the shipping costs. Very first thing you have to do is make an export entry. No matter what country you're in, you have to pay for an export entry. What's an export entry? It's basically saying to your customs authority, it's HMRC in the UK, hey, this is what I'm exporting. I'm exporting 1,000 widgets, and they're going to India, and the cost is this. That's an export entry. And the customs will see, are these widgets allowed go? Do they need an export license? Are they innocent goods? Yeah, whatever, whatever. So that's your export entry. Somebody has to pay for that. Most exporters do not make an export entry themselves because they don't know how to do it. They use a freight forwarder, and the freight forwarder charges them a fee. Okay, so you can see already shipping costs are not just the freight. There's lots of miscellaneous hidden away costs that people don't recognize, and if you don't recognize them, you can't charge somebody for them. Okay, so there's your export entry. Now we have our transport costs from my warehouse here to Felixstowe docks. There's my transport costs. Remember last time we were talking, my last video, when we were talking about international shipping, we were talking about terminal handling charges, etc., etc. So now you've terminal handling charges. The container, the truck arrives in Felixstowe. They enter the port of Felixstowe. Their information is gathered on the container. The container is taken off the truck by a crane. It's put on the ground, awaiting craneage onto the vessel. Somebody has to pay for that. You do, because you're charged terminal handling charges. So that goes against the cost of hiring the crane driver, etc., etc. So you've got THCs, terminal handling charges. Okay. Now, after that, you have your sea freight costs. Just as we said, is a conference or non-conference? Now, I'm not going to go into sea freight costs in great detail, the actual costs, because now we're living in Wild West land. I say now, October 2021. Wild West land on cost. One of the companies I deal with, they pay £2,500 for a 20-foot container from China on a good day. They've been paying £10,000. And I could be here all day telling you why, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say £10,000. So your sea freight, it's either conference or non-conference, but the actual rates right now, it's Wild West land. Everybody's wired up to the moon when it comes to quoting freight rates. And I leave it at that. And then, of course, you have, as I discussed previously, you could have BAF, bunker adjustment factor, CAF, currency adjustment factor. Then you've got the one I hate, bill of lading fee. Let me drag you back into ancient times when I started off first. Your bills of lading were given to you free. They weren't chintzy about it. They weren't money, the shipping line stroke freight forwarder, weren't money grabbing. The bills of lading were part of the sea freight, for goodness sake. And then one day, some bright spark, money grabbing freight forwarder thought, hang on, let's make extra money. Let's charge these suckers a bill of lading fee. So all of a sudden we're charged in the UK, we were charged like £15, £20, £25, £30 for a bill of lading, just to get a bill of lading. Now, okay, if you're happy with that, I don't mind. It's your money, not mine. But I always put that bill of lading fee into my costs to my customer. Why not? Why not? Okay, bill of lading fee. And then when the goods arrive at the port of destination, this is for the importer, we have clearing agent's fee. You're going to use a clearing agent to clear your goods through customs. You're going to pay duty, or possibly pay duty, local taxes, transport from the dockside to your warehouse, and there you go. That's it. All those costs. The main ones is the sea freight, and people obviously address that in detail, but they let slip all of these little extras that they charge, and it's not an on cost. They don't pass it on to the buyer, and they absorb it themselves. Oh, well, we're jolly D guys. We're all very happy, and we don't like upsetting our customers over £20, or it's short-sighted giving them, come on, it's not short-sighted. They have more respect for you if you're a business person. Okay, so that was it. That's the video. Shipping costs through a conference and non-conference shipping line. I hope short and sweet, to the point. Now, finally, I'm sure you're all asking out there, yeah, okay, but who pays for all of these? Is it the buyer and the seller? And it's a dead easy answer. It depends on the Incoterm used in the contract. If it's Ex Works, all of those prices are paid for by the buyer. If it is FOB, all of the charges up to taking in or delivering in the container to the port of export is for the buyer, and the balance is for the seller. So in answering the question, which I'm sure is on all of your lips, who pays for what, I cheat. And I say to you, go look up your Incoterms for that particular contract, and it'll tell you the division of cost. Who pays for what? Easy as that. Okay, I'm going to leave you, and thank you for watching. Before I finish, I would say to you again, I really do like receiving comments from you. I click off the negative comments, don't read them. And I only read the good comments. Fortunately, they're good comments. So, and you're always asking me for subjects. Alan, can you discuss this? Alan, can you discuss that? And I do so if I think there's a video in it and it's not too personal for the person that sent it in. But don't be deterred. Please send me in your requests. And we'll try and fit it. If it's just a small thing, we'll try and fit it in. If it's a subject I can get my teeth into, figuratively speaking, I will do so, and I'll do a webinar on it. I've got 2 in the pipeline right now. I'm going to put out. So thank you once again for watching. I hope I helped you. I hope I explained a subject in detail to you. Don't forget who we are and what we do. We're abtslogistics.co.uk. We present courses, international trade courses, import-export course, documentary letter of credit course. And the one that seems to, at the moment, attract most subscriptions is our course, How to Become an Agent. Seems to be working very, very well. Please have a look at our site, see if it interests you. If you have any questions you would like to ask me about the course before you part with your well-earned money, just get on. We have a contact us button. Get on to me, ask me, is the course suitable for you? And we'll answer very honestly. So it's goodbye from a very cold October day in London, England, and talk to you again soon. Okay, cheers, bye.